Hi guys, Kim and Ginger here. Hello.
Okay.
We're just gonna talk a little bit. We're just gonna talk for a little bit. We're gonna talk about a significant shift that's occurring in reality, and we're going to talk about um what people say and what people hear a little bit. And I don't know what else we're going to talk about, but it's probably not going to be a very long video. So to begin with, um, I just wanted to talk to you about why I think there's been a significant shift in reality. I believe this because I believe, and I shouldn't use the word believe because it's a lie. I think that um, that all is reflection. So if
Hmm.
I'm experiencing a significant shift in my reality, then if all is reflection, then the reflection will have also experienced a shift. And
Hmm.
there's a very significant aspect of this shift, uh, and something I've been saying for donkey's years, which is where your focus goes, grows, and whatever you're focusing on becomes our reality. All right. So, whereas years ago, when we used to talk about this, where your focus goes, grows, we used to look at it in a loose form and look at it as like a subject or something. Say, I wanted to sew some clothes or something like that, and that was where my focus was, and that's where that would become our reality. Whereas our awareness of what that actually means in relation to giving focus to something, we invariably give focus to problems in view of trying to solve them. But now what's become patently, uh, I don't know what the word is, clear, um, is that by giving focus to the problems and trying to solve them, we're actually creating bigger problems because we shouldn't be focusing on the problems to begin with. We should be taking the higher mind or actually taking a higher insight of it as going where, okay, where's the silver lining in this? What can we focus on to make it better? And Ginger's been fantastic with this very recently with me because I've been going up and down like a yo-yo. Anyway, I had a vision yesterday amidst other stuff that was going on, and it was a walking a waking vision like uh like a dream, but in waking time that's happening more and more to me, and I'm seeing a visual. So what I saw was a water line, and I was inside the water as if I could look above the water line and below it. It's got this like 3D view, like I'm watching a TV. And on in this vision, there was people floating above the waterline, people I know, and the faces of the people that I recognized. A lot of them were people who'd gone through great trauma in their lives. But despite their grievances in the past, their past grievances weren't holding them down. They were able to remain quite buoyant and they were able to, and I saw this symbolically as um, people not reliving the past, reliving the past, reliving the past. Because when I looked at the overall view, there was also a lot of people beneath the water, and the people beneath the water had chains around their ankles, like ball and chains, and the ball and chains were dragging them down. And I mean, the phrase that came to mind was drowning in your own sorrows. Um, so the point I'm trying to
Well, we
make,
all we all have sorrows. We all have grief. We all have anger. These are natural experiences for us, and some of us have more than our share. And it's not to diminish the grief or the sorrow or the anger, but to say, how can we alchemize that? How can we shift that? How can we take that energy and transmute it and use it for something good? How can we learn to ride the dragon?
yeah,
Some people perceive the dragon as a very negative thing. I don't.
no,
I think the dragon is ultra powerful and it's the oldest version of who we are.
yeah,
It's the animal instinct within.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's on the Chinese zodiac. I mean, I don't think it was mythological. I don't know that it's not present right here, right now. You know, it's a part of our experience. And I
Okay.
think that we are the dragon or the lion, the Leo. It's the heart. It's all about the heart of it. And so the water, again, to me, represents the emotional waters. And so now we're talking about how we feel. And the heart has been opening this year. That's what we've been working on. We've been working on allowing the waters to flow and not become blocked, in that higher or lower realm.
So not focusing on the lack,
Correct.
taking looking at the lack and going, hang on a second, okay, there's a lack here, but how much have I got? How much have I gained? Can I transmute that into gratitude in relation to there might be a lack here, but there's a load of richness outside of that lack.
What is it teaching me? So I learned something this week about building empathy, and I think it might fit here. It's about asking yourself more questions. So when you first say, when you first encounter something or someone, you might say, ooh, yuck, and then you might say, okay, well, there's got to be more to it. Like there, dig deeper. So what was my second, maybe my second question is, oh, here we go again. I don't want to do this, but here we go again. If I dig deeper, I might become curious and think, well, what is this? What's the lesson? What is it that I'm being asked to learn here? Why am I having this experience? So there's an example of getting to the higher mind. And then from there, you might find yourself saying, well, if it's a person, everybody's doing their best, you know, and I give thanks for the reminder to be humble and grateful and learn from every experience. So you might get, if you just go a little deeper beyond that initial thought, you might find that there's a lot more to unpack and we can find more tolerance for one another, because I think that we've experienced a great divide, you know, and it's really easy to point and say, oh well, they're this and they're that, and that's that. Dig deeper. We're all the same.
Okay. So I've got like a kind of bit of a different take on what you're saying there, because when I had this prophetic vision yesterday, it was like, stay away from toxic people. Stay away from people that haven't moved on. Stay away from people that just want to go over the past and go over the past. And they don't, it's like a broken record, they don't actually want to solve it. They're not looking to solve it. They're looking to wallow in it. They're looking to stay in self-pity. So self-pity seems to be a really, really strong way. And I'm not being I'm not being unkind by saying this, because I know there's a great many people that have had a great deal of trauma in their life. I'm just saying that this time in our reality is the real core bit where don't fall into that or stay in that, because you won't be buoyant. And that the people that are incapable of pulling themselves out of self-pity, and I'm talking about on a perpetual level, these are the people that I saw getting dragged down with the balls and chains and getting dragged down deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think that that's the reality of the Great Divide that you're talking about. And I just think it's coming to pass around us. And that even if these people with the self-pity problem are very close, they might be very close family members, but you better bear in mind they've got a ball and chain in their foot, and if they grab hold of your leg, you're going to be dragged down too. You're going to be dragged
That's
down
right.
with them. So it's quite important to be able to say, um, go around there for 10 minutes, leave, just touch base with these people, make sure that they know that in you're in their reality, but you don't have to live there with them,
No, and some people carry crystals for this.
right?
A little extra protection. You might, visualize clearing your energy as you approach, and keep a mind open for growth,
Mm,
because like it's up to us to imagine it
mm.
also. it's up to us to imagine them becoming buoyant. And if we don't imagine them becoming buoyant, then, we're part of the problem, I think. So I think it's very important for us to try and visualize the best possible outcome, especially for those that are not buoyant. And because I think we've all been there. We've all been shackled to those heavy emotions. And we've all had our own personal experiences. And it's not about, in my opinion, it's not about what happens to us, it's about how we choose to walk with it.
Exactly.
That's where we find
Exactly.
our strength. And I think that we become buoyant through forgiveness and acceptance. And we can't change it. So acknowledging that it's not going to change. How do I want to feel about this? You know, it's a real challenging thing to overcome, but to aim for those higher vibrational, words and emotions is a really good place to start. What
Exactly.
else can this teach me? It has taught me to be, strong, or maybe able to help others who have been through this experience, or can I find forgiveness for the characters that didn't behave the way I thought they should behave.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So,
It's a lot. It's a tall order for some. And I want to say one more thing, Kim. I feel three kinds of people that we encounter. People who we just let them. We sit back and we watch and we admire how they do it. They do it very different than how we do it, but we're all doing it. And so those ones that can, we let them. And the ones that can't, well, we might want to offer some guidance or wisdom or share some of our experiences. Or, in the workplace, you might have a coworker sit with them and guide them and help bring them a little more clarity about what their expectations are. But then there's the people who won't. And the ones that won't in the workplace, again, you'd be wise to terminate quickly because, as you're saying, it's really going to drag you down.
mm,
And so then clearing your energy after the visit, if you must. And
mhm.
there's no shame in saying no contact. If it's like that,
If
I
it's
think
that,
it's very
if it's
important.
that toxic,
If
if
it's that
it's that
toxic, I
toxic,
think it's important for us to do what's right for us. And
mhm.
sometimes what's right for us is gonna hurt somebody else. And there's nothing we can do to
The-
ha- I don't think that there's a whole lot you can do. When you get to that point, there's really no turning back. So, I mean, sometimes it just becomes incredibly toxic and sometimes not even safe to be around certain individuals. Just because you can feel love doesn't mean that they can.
and vibration will take care of that to some degree. So
Absolutely.
I do think that there's an element in this world that makes it when you're kind of vibrating kind of happy and just sort of gentle along with stuff, and then somebody who's extremely heavy, they'll be out of reach. They'll meaning they'll try to phone them, you'll try to phone them, they won't answer. They'll try to phone you back, you'll be busy. They'll try to phone you back, you'll be busy. Anytime you sort of say, right, can I pop around now for a cuppa, or can we meet up at 5 o'clock this afternoon? It'll be like, sorry, I'm busy. Can we make it tomorrow? No, sorry, I'm busy. So you'll find that there'll be your vibration will take care of it to some degree.
Absolutely, I do that.
And
Absolutely.
and that
But I've also witnessed and I believe that if we can hold space for a different outcome, just
mm,
because it's like that now, things
yeah,
are constantly changing.
yeah,
It's
exactly. It doesn't mean to
constantly
say they're gonna
changing.
be
So
that next
again,
week.
we shouldn't wallow in the idea that they're not
No,
going to be able to rise above wherever they're at
no,
this moment.
yeah,
I feel like we're always given opportunities and tests, and
yeah,
sometimes we pass, sometimes we fail. I noticed this year I need to pay closer attention to what I feel is the guidance that I receive. And I've argued with myself a few times, and I've been reminded. Now, no surprise that this has been happening recently. A lot of planets are retrograde, and some people might be learning things that they've already learned.
mm,
They might be relearning things.
mm,
And so it's good. We're supposed to practice makes perfect, right?
hmm
So integrating what we've learned. is a big part of what we'll be doing moving forward. So it's not enough to say, you know, it's not enough to say it. It's important for us to walk the talk and integrate
Yeah.
the feelings, like whatever it is that we're called to do.
So I came across a friend of mine that I hadn't seen for a number of years, came to visit me the other day, and she introduced me to this thing called the gene codes. And
So cool, really
it's
cool.
I'll give you the link to it, but below, what you basically do is put your name, email address, birth date, time of birth into it, and it gives you an insight into who you are. And I've done it for about 6 people so far, and it's kind of blown my mind in relation to how it seems to really simplify the whole astrological thing. And it simplifies it in such a way that it's sort of written in layman's terms. It tells you where your genius is. It tells you what your life path is, what you're meant to be doing on this journey. But it's not boxing you into anything. It doesn't really suggest that you should be working as this person or you should be doing this with your life. It's more about aspects of your personality and what aspects you can actually embrace and what you should be aware of in relation to pitfalls. And I just found it was mind blowing. Um,
You
so
did a number of charts. Would you say that it was highly accurate for the charts that you did, Kim?
I would say, and always different. Every single
Yes.
person came out completely different. So there isn't even any duplication in in the writing or what he's saying. It's not like, I mean, I looked at about 6 or 7, and I was just quite amazed that each one was uniquely different and that it actually managed to center down on people's strengths and weaknesses. And I thought, that's really interesting. So I'll give you a link to
That
that
is really interesting. Yeah, it was cool.
and let me know how you go with that. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about a little bit is singing the Simon and Garfunkel song. A man hears what he wants to hear and he disregards the rest. Can't remember what the
That
song's
is the
called.
truth. That's the truth. We have,
So
well, I think it's a form of, it feels like almost a form of protection. It's like a tunnel that, some of us are able to perceive more than others. Some of us need to take time and hold on one thing at a time, while others are able to, you know,
so
like,
I can
what do you
say
call it? Neurospicy. Some of us are imagining more than one pop-up world at once.
I would even go as far as to say that the words that we use when we're talking are actually of a vibration, not of the actual words. So,
Yes.
say I say the word to you, pig, and what you might understand is I said fish and chips,
Hmm.
right? So you run out and get fish and chips because you subliminally heard that when I said the word pig. Um, it's like a vibration that's in our voice or something. But also, Ginger and I have had a number of experiences over the last couple of days where people have interpreted something that we said as something completely different.
Hmm.
And in
And I
the
think that that's
and the
pretty common. In fact, it just comes to mind, Kim. I'm reminded being around youngsters, I learned a long time ago um, to ask them, what did you just hear me say?
yeah.
Because what I said isn't necessarily, and kids say the darndest things. Like it's so cute and funny sometimes when it's coming from children. But we have to remember that adults are all on a different wavelength too, and they're not necessarily picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
And what you're saying might be really scary to them, where from your point of view, it's great news.
Oh,
You
well,
know,
yeah. I
but
mean,
for them, it's beyond
I,
their perception. I gotta learn what now? I've got
I,
already too much on the go. I can't do this.
I went on a
I like
school.
the Gene Keys for that reason because it does really keep it simple
I
and it
went on,
helps to highlight some really good information about us.
I was on a school camp when I was 11, and the headmistress told us that we could do whatever we liked as long as we got up at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
as long as we were ready to go at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I went, oh, we got free pass tonight as an 11-year-old, and went round and collected all the other 11, 10, 9, 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds on the camp, and went off into the forest and built a fire and sat around telling scary ghost stories and making up stuff. And we built a fire and everything in this next to this little stream, and it was all fine until the police came at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
Um,
boy.
but it was the very literalness of the headmistress saying you can do whatever you like as long as, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with this? This is what I like to do. But they had a different interpretation of that. They had a different
One of my
interpretation.
one of
I
my
got the spell.
fastest grandchildren, when she was 2 years old, she came and asked if she could do something, but she was speaking baby babble. And I heard my name and blah 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 blah. And I said, "Oh yeah," trying to get into the position of decoding what she just said. And she looked at me and she said, "Thank you, yeah, yeah, thank you." And like lightning, she was out the door.
Did you
She had her
follow her?
shoes on. Oh boy, did I. She's only a toddler and could barely speak, but she thought I said yes. I was like, "Oh yeah, tell me more." She was gone. She was gone. She heard yes and she was gone.
What was it? Do you remember what it was?
She wanted to go to the playhouse. And
Ah,
that's fine, but she's 2 years old. It's a little young
yeah,
to go on your own. It's a pretty big property.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Oh,
I mean, I laugh about it because like clearly a little miscommunication there, but sometimes that's what we need.
literal.
Take us off course, take us
Yeah,
off course. And she was
just
lit up about it. So I was too.
so be mindful of the words you're using when you're using them,
Yeah.
because it's carrying a lot more strength at the moment, and I really, really feel that there has been a really significant. I had a significant thing happen to me yesterday. I can't really go into the details of because it's a bit personal, but um, needless to say, I think I've been encased in a fishbowl with no a glass fishbowl for donkey's years, and suddenly the glass fishbowl came crumbling down, and I found
But in a
myself.
good way. In a
Oh,
good
great
way,
way!
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really great. It was like I was standing looking at the water last night, and I could feel my eyes smiling, and I'm thinking, wow, I can feel my eyes smiling. And there wasn't anything significant going on at that moment for me to be smiling about. I just felt like my soul was smiling, but it was like almost like a permanent thing now. It
Yeah.
was like, oh my goodness, that's magnificent. That's magic.
Well, as
And
we say goodbye to the old, and especially, as I don't know, as the year moves on and we approach the new year again, as the year moves on, we're disposing of what no longer works for us, right? And so we're smashing old beliefs. We're smashing old systems.
yeah,
We're we're not we're not going to keep doing what we've always done. We never have. We've always created. And but now we're consciously creating. And if we can learn to consciously co-create, then what problem?
that's what that's what I'm busy learning. I think I'm busy learning conscious co-creation. I
Yes,
certainly,
and I feel
certainly,
like it's already happening. Like so many of us have synchronicities and find ourselves riding the same wave. Like I feel like on that level, it's already happening. And like this is, there's room for everything here.
yeah, I agree. And then on another note, I mean, I went vegetarian, non-smoking, non-drinking. Went non-drinking about 20 years ago. And part of this reality is I've become a smoker, a meat eater, and a drinker. Not excessive, but just a glass of wine here and there.
But does it bring you joy?
Yeah, it's been
And
great. It's been really good. This is really
So then
cool.
that's, I think, part of the message. Like we
Yeah.
can see it as a toxic enemy, like
Uh-huh.
anything at all. I was actually tempted. I've been a vegetarian most of my life, and I've been a vegan for more than 10 years. And I was really tempted a number of times. I didn't do it, but it was odd for me to be tempted.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like, again, riding the same wave.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a wrong choice there. I don't think that you have to do this or that.
I
I
don't
think that
think
you
so
have
either.
to
It just
do what feels right to you.
exactly.
And, if you're concerned about who cooked it for you, shift the energy on it
Yeah.
before you eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put your energy on it. Just put
Yeah.
gratitude all over it.
Yeah.
Put gratitude all over it, and it'll taste better.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna finish this video here because I've got to go. But we do want to talk a little bit in the next few days about astrology, maybe. And we also want to talk about the end of the era of the dragon and the beginning of the era of the snake, and the fact that we're
Great.
shifting from an 8 to a 9 year. So next year is going to be a completion year. So my suggestion to everybody out there is uh, just to try and stay as buoyant as you possibly can, given whatever circumstance you're in, and try not to experience self-pity. Try and transmute that into a more joyful experience, regardless of whether it's by playing music or getting out in nature, just whatever. Just try and transmute those negative self-pity moments into gratitude, into looking at the big picture rather than looking at the minute aspects, because the self-pity is the thing that is very, very bad for us.
Oh, I agree.
Anything else that you want to say before I cut it off?
No, just to remind about the can, can't, won't, and you'll see it all around you. If you start to look for it, like people become like Eeyore, stuck, very stuck. And, it's unfortunate, but that's where we're at right now in terms of shifting the ship and turning the wheel, so to speak. It's going to turn whether we're aware of it or not.
Yeah,
And I think it's very important for us to be selective about what we give our energy to. And as much as we care, we can't force others. And the sooner we let go, the sooner they become buoyant because we get trapped in that energy of wanting to change them. And I think it's very important to let go. And that's been a really loud message this year.
yeah,
Let them, let go. I'm done.
yeah.
So I feel like it's very important for us to reflect upon what we've learned. How do we integrate these teachings? Quit trying to teach everybody else. If it's, I think it's more about us coming out of the chrysalis state that we've been in.
That's what I
And
was
this
talking
is
about with
why,
this.
yeah, this is why I think so many of us are feeling a calmness.
Yeah,
Suddenly there's an ease, joy, laughter. What the heck? Where did you come from?
yeah. I
You
wasn't
know,
expecting
like,
you.
where have you been?
Yeah,
And so of course we want more.
uh,
But I think again, it's always important to find balance. We
yeah.
can't just laugh,
No,
you know. It's important for us to have a little bit of everything,
yeah,
if that's what you're called to do.
yeah.
But don't have too much of anything. It's just everything in moderation.
All right.
So identify, put put warm thoughts, good thoughts around people that are going through some stuff and try and help where you can, recognize where you can't, because sometimes they're just not ready.
They'll
And
drag you under.
we have to accept that. We have to accept that.
Hmm.
And the sooner we do, I feel the sooner we see this shift happen.
Yeah. So
Well,
I'd love to
it's
hear.
really, truly done.
I'd
I
I'd
feel like
love
it's
to
already
hear
done.
if anybody else had a significant shift yesterday, because my shift was really, really significant, even though it was a tiny event that actually it just broke the fishbowl. So
I think that's really cool. That's a great
mm,
analogy. I love it because
mm,
it has been kind of like a trapped force of energy, the heart. It
yeah,
hasn't been able to flow. It's been captive in the fishbowl.
yeah, been
So
captive in the
the
fishbowl.
waters are flowing.
The waters are flowing, and it was very significant in relation to the way that I felt. As I said, my eyes were smiling. I had a bit of a laugh last night, and I could feel my heart engaged in the laughter, which I hadn't felt for maybe 45 years. It was quite like, bloody hell. I actually laugh and really feel it. It was quite
Mhm.
significant. Right, I'm going to go.
That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. I wish that for everyone. You know, let's put that around everyone. I know that a lot of people are feeling a great shift. And a lot of people are talking about Mercury retrograde, and it's retrograde in Sagittarius, so fire sign. Heads up. But it's also the house of the philosopher. So
Right,
it's really truly asking you to relearn what you already know and to integrate what you've learned into your daily practices
yeah,
and let it become the most authentic version of you, unapologetically you.
yeah,
You don't have to get anybody else's permission.
no,
Just, be the best version of you. We talk about this all the time, and I do like to think that it's going to happen.
okay, good. Bye. Bye bye.
Bye,
You take care.
everyone.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.